How's it going, people? Samus Labber here, and this is the brand new quest that just came out yesterday, the Brink of Extinction. So, this is the full guide, fully commentated, and I hope you will enjoy. It has taken me quite a long time to edit. So, yeah, please give it a like if you find it useful. But anyway, let's get started. So, to actually start this quest, you need to have completed the Elder Kiln. You need 80 defense, 80 smithing, and 72 mining. You cannot use any temporary boosts as far as I'm aware. Item wise, you need either a rune dragon or inferno adds as a pick. You also need 6 free imagery slots, and you'll also want armor and weapons for all 3 combat styles, and you'll also want some food and prayer pots for the big ass boss battle at the end. If you do have the toggles though, I would recommend using that, as we will be killing quite a lot of lava enemies. So if you've got it, bring that along. To start this quest, you need to head to the main plaza and go ahead and talk to one of the NPCs right there. Eventually they'll ask you to accept the quest. Go ahead. He'll give you a comm orb. At this point we now need to find 3 gaol, which are small versions of these Tazar. For 2 of them, head directly southeast, just past the furnace. And just to the south of the entrance towards the Elder Kiln, if you head down here, you'll find 1 gaol straight away next to this pillar. Go ahead and talk to it, and it doesn't matter which option you choose, just tell them to go back to the main plaza. From here, keep on heading south a little bit, and just on the eastern side, next to the wall, you'll find another gaol. And same deal again, just tell them to go back to the plaza. At this point, you want to backtrack, and as soon as you're out of this little offshoot, head southwest. And just past this little lava by here, you'll find another gaol on the end of it. So go ahead and talk to this one and do exactly the same again, just tell them to go back to the plaza. So at this point we need to head back to the main plaza ourselves, so go ahead and use your toggle zo. At this point you want to use your comm orb that you were given at the beginning of the quest. At this point he'll tell you to find the toggle of some legendary fighters. Doesn't matter which one you choose, we're going to pick up all 3 of them now. So go ahead and use your toggle zo and head over to the Elder Kiln. And if you head south just a little bit and check the statue on the western side, you will be able to mine it. This one right here. And you'll be given one of the toggles. So at this point you want to carry on heading southwest and then west. And then you want to head to the northeast as much as possible, towards the birthing pools. You'll then get a cutscene. So, after the cutscene's over, keep heading northeast. And on the northern side of this birthing pool, you'll find an NPC next to it, called Mejhet. Go ahead and talk to him, and ask him for Tokkul. And then option 3, and he'll eventually go ahead and give you some Tokkul. So one more left. At this point we now need to head towards the entrance of the Tazar area, as if he was coming in from Karamja Island. So to do that, just head straight southwest, just past the blast furnace. And while you're here, you can also use the 5 toggles on it, and it'll turn it into 1. And as soon as you've passed it, head directly south, and eventually you'll end up hitting the entrance. So, once you're finally down here, same as at the Elder Kiln entrance, if you look on the western side, there's a statue you can actually mine. Go ahead and do that, and you'll be given another 5 toggle. At this point, you want to use your tackle zone to teleport back to the main plaza, and just head slightly south towards the blast furnace, and go ahead and use the 5 toggle on it. And if you didn't do so before, use the other 5 toggle on it as well. And they'll all melt into one item. At which point you want to head back up to the main plaza and talk to the main NPC. You'll hand over all 3 toggle, and then they'll all disappear. At this point you want to use your toggle zone, and we now need to teleport over to the Elder Kiln. Or the fight kiln, I should say, even. Once you're here, go ahead and enter. Choose the Brink of Extinction, and you'll be given a massive cutscene. So you'll be given 4 options here. It doesn't matter which one you choose, anything between 1 and 3. And eventually the cutscene will continue. So, once you finally regain control, you'll be back in the Tazar area. Now you want to head over to the southeastern side of this entire area. So as soon as you exit the fight kiln area, head south as if you was going towards the first 2 gaol we found, and follow this path all the way around. Then you want to head up to the northeastern side. And as soon as you're towards the cave entrance, go ahead and use your communication orb. There is a bank here which you can actually use if you need anything out of the bank. At this point you need the all 3 combat attack styles, preferably, and quite a lot of food would be very useful. So as soon as you're in here, you'll be attacked by 4 weak melee enemies. So just go ahead and wipe them out. If I remember rightly, they're supposedly weak to stab, but you seem to be able to rip them apart with magic anyway, so it really doesn't matter. whichever way you find most useful. And as soon as those 4 have killed, you want to head towards the north. There'll be a mace on the floor, go ahead and pick it up. At the same time, take the sword off the left hand scales. You then want to use the mace on the left hand scales, and then take the knife from the right hand scales and put the sword on there instead. And the way forward will open up. So carry on through, and you'll be attacked by another few mobs. If at any point while you're going through this little area here you run out of food or you happen to die, there's nothing to worry about. Everything on you when you died you'll actually keep, and if you exit through the southern cave of whichever section you're on, you will actually end up just outside the cave entrance next to a bank, and when you re-enter you'll appear in exactly the same spot. So this is a completely safe activity quest. But anyway, as soon as you're in here you'll be attacked by 2 melee mobs. They're all weak to water spells, so go ahead and rip them a new one. As soon as you've killed them, a large ranger will spawn and one of those weak melees at the very beginning. The weak melee is weak to stab, and the ranger is weak to crush, as far as I remember. But any melee style will actually rip it a new one anyway, so if you don't happen to have those on you, not a worry. Just means the fight will take a little bit longer. So, finally, once you've killed the ranger head just to your north again. And this time we've got to move these 3 statues so they form the combat triangle. So as you can see, the one on the southeast is melee, on the west is range, and the north is mage. So first thing you want to do is move the eastern statue towards the northwest until it lines up with the ranger. If it happens to be slightly off, like my one here, just move the ranger left once and it should fall into place. And then you want to move the northern statue down towards the southeast so it actually forms the triangle for you. As far as I know, these 3 statues appear in the same place for everybody, so this guide should be straightforward for you. If not, the principle is the same, you just gotta make the triangle, so the combat triangle actually works, so melee beats range, range beats mage, mage beats melee. Once you've got them in the right position, you'll see all the arrows will turn purple, and as soon as you've done that, the doors will open for you. So head on through. So once you've come through, this is the first real challenge of the quest. I'd highly recommend going back to the bank and getting food if you need it. But anyway, once you're in, head to the east and go through the door. And the plates in here will actually light up at given points, and if you're standing on them when they are lit up, you'll take about 1,800 damage per tick. So yeah, you need to keep an eye on them as you're still fighting these and move whenever necessary. But for the first wave, you are fighting against 4 meleeers, and they're all weak to water. So go ahead and rip them a new one with Mage. Barrage is kind of useful if you're on Ancients. And once you've killed all 4 meleeers, another wave will then spawn. And there'll be 2 rangers and a mage. So switch to range and take out the mage first, and then switch to melee and kill the 2 rangers. If the rangers happen to be standing on one of the hot plates and you can't actually reach them, then just use range to actually kill them. And as soon as you've killed them, another wave will spawn, only this time it'll just be 1 champion. He uses melee, and he's weak to everything supposedly, or he's not weak to anything, either way. So use whichever method you're dealing the most damage with. Most people seem to be having best luck with either melee or mage for these. Either way, he will take quite a while to whittle down, as he does have quite a lot of HP. Upon killing this champion, he'll also drop an obsidian mace on the floor. You need that, so go ahead and pick it up. Or obsidian maul even, sorry. Once you've got that, head out of the archway and place that obsidian maul on the scales next to the door. And head on through. So as soon as you're in this next room, there'll be 4 mages straight away, so you want to switch to your range and wipe these out as quick as possible, as these actually do deal quite a hefty amount of damage. These are supposedly weak to bolts, so if you happen to have brought a crossbow along with you, you're in luck. Though any form of range will actually deal quite a decent amount of damage against them, so either way. So, as I said before, if you happen to be running low on food or prayer pots, then as soon as you've killed the enemies in the room, you'll typically get a message in your chat box that'll say it's saved you, well, saved your progress. And as soon as it said that, you can just head through the southern door and head back to the bank. But anyway, once you've finally killed those 4 mages, you just want to head to the north now. And there'll be a bunch of weapons randomly scattered on the floor. Go ahead and pick them up. And the idea here is you need to look at the statues behind the scales and use whatever weapon they have equipped on the scales for it to work. So for example, this first one here on the southwest is a mage for me. So I need to put down the staff. I'm not sure if this is the same for everybody, so I'm just telling you how it is actually done. You'll know if you've got it right, as the scales will actually sink down, same as usual. So for me, the southwestern was a staff, the northwest was a sword, the northeast was a mace, or a maul even, no, mace. And then the southeast was a knife. Or an archer ring even, sorry. So once you've placed all four of them and all four scales activate, the doors will open and you can head on through. So as soon as you enter, you'll have two of those weak melees to kill again, or three even. And again, these things are meant to be weak to stab. So melee would work well, but mage seems to be equally as good. So kill them with whichever, and as soon as you've killed them, more enemies will spawn, one of which will be a massive melee, and the other two will be mages. So I'd highly recommend backing up towards the door, as you can actually safe spot the melee, and while you're here, just take out those two mages. So this massive level 180-ish, well the old 180 melee anyway, is weak to water spells, so Ice Blitz, Barrage or Water Surge, all of them work well. So finally, once you've managed to kill them all, again, as usual, head to your north. And this time it's a memory problem. So go ahead and touch any of these, and the southeastern one should light up. The idea is you just need to copy it. So this time it's southeast, then northeast, or northwest even. And then I'll add one more to the sequence, so this time it's southeast, northwest, and southwest. Then southeast, northwest, southwest, northwest. This is the same for everybody. So next is southeast, northwest, southwest, northwest, northeast. Then southeast, northwest, southwest, northwest, northeast, and southeast. Then southeast, northwest, southwest, northwest, northeast, southeast, northeast. Southeast, northwest, southwest, northwest, northeast, southeast, northeast, southwest. And finally, once you've done it with 8 sequences in a row, you'll complete it and you can head through the door. So this is another cage fight. So if you're running out of food, just as I am, head on back to the bank as you will be needing it. And once you're ready, head on through the eastern side and enter the cage. So again, the first round is 4 melias, only this time they're all small. So go ahead and kill these. Then the next wave will be a champion and 2 mages. Go ahead and kill them in whichever order you wish. I personally went with the melee first and stick to my mage armor, so I do actually have some decent defense against both mage and melee. Then next up, just finish them off. The third wave is 2 rangers and a mage. So same as the previous cage fight, you can switch to range, take out the major first, then melee and take out the rangers, either way. Then finally, once you've killed them, you'll have another wave, and this is the last one, and it'll be 2 champions. So for these, it doesn't really matter which one, or which combat style you use to kill them, although be wary of the little glitch where if you stop attacking a champion for a period of time, they'll actually gain all of their HP back, as you might have just noticed there. The one I'd pretty much killed, he only needed 1 more hit to finish, and now he's back at max HP. So make sure you pay all of your attention to just one champion, rather than try and damage them both at the same time. Upon killing either one of these champions, one of them will randomly drop an obsidian weapon we can pick up, and we need that to place on the skills to open up the door so we can carry on. So make sure you pick that up. So anyway, once you've finally killed everything in here, you can now exit. And with the new obsidian weapon we just picked up off the floor from them, we can now place that on the scales. And we can now carry on through. So, head on through the northern door. As soon as you enter, you'll be attacked by 3 melias. So, go ahead and kill these. These are weak to water spells, although they do take a fairly hefty amount of damage from whatever magic you're using. So finally, once you've defeated them all, there'll be weapons scattered all around this place. Go ahead and pick them all up, and there'll also be a stone tablet. You'll also want that. If you don't happen to have enough inventory spaces, just pick up as much as you can. You can still do it anyway without having to bank. Once you've got them all, go ahead and inspect one of the scales. Doesn't matter which one. This part I'm pretty sure is different for everybody. So when you inspect the scales, it'll say something to do with the Tazar language, either Ket, Zil, Met, or Her. So whichever one it says, you gotta try and reference it with the stone tablet to work out what weapon goes where. So for example, if the one is a blunt weapon, and then the other, it'll also have a secondary word like that one there, where it'd be small along with it, then a small blunt weapon would be a mace. So you place the mace on the scale and it would activate. Hopefully that actually made sense. Just make sure you inspect the scales. So there you got Zil and Her. So Zil is a short weapon, and Her is a small weapon, so an obsidian knife. So it is pretty straightforward. As soon as you've placed all 4 weapons down on the scales, go ahead and carry on through. So as soon as you're through the door, you'll be attacked by 3 mages. So go ahead and use range if you've got range. If not, mage seems to work fairly well against them. After you've killed these 3 small mages, a massive large mage will appear along with 2 melias. I'd probably recommend sticking on Protect from Magic at this point, as that large magic mob can actually deal some hefty damage against you. It doesn't really matter which way you take these out, whether it's the melias first or the mage. You can actually trap the melias behind the mage if you wanted to, with some good positioning. Either way, you just need to eradicate all of them. And eventually, they'll all be dead. So, same as usual, just head slightly north. And this time there is a floor puzzle for us to do. So this is actually fairly simple. Rotate the southwestern one twice. Rotate the southern section twice. Rotate the western section once. Rotate the center once. You then want to rotate the southeastern one 3 times. You then want to rotate the eastern one twice. Then rotate the northern one once. Then rotate the northwest one 3 times. Then rotate the northeastern one twice, and that is it. Puzzle complete. So head on through the door. And this is actually the boss room. So at this point, there is a lot of different methods you can use to try and kill the boss, but to start the fight you need to head into the cage room, talk to Gaol Zox, and choose whichever method you want, and he'll eventually ask you to help him out. And all you need to do is pull the lever on the eastern side. And that's pretty much it. Then the boss will come down. So this boss fight is actually fairly difficult, as the floor will constantly be lighting up and trying to kill you, same as usual. But at the same time he's got a hell of a lot of HP, and every now and then he'll keep trying to stand underneath that lava flow, which will actually heal him back to full health if you leave him be. So the only way to stop him is to actually stun him. To do that you would need to use the skills such as impact, kick, backhand, and whichever one the range one's called, can't remember, sorry. But you need to use them to prevent him from healing himself back up to full. At the same time all this is going on, he will constantly spawn minions to help him. So every fight, no matter what, he will first of all spawn a ranger, then a melee, then a mage. And for example, if I was to leave this ranger right now, he would keep spawning rangers constantly. So it's best to try and limit how many different attacks are attacking you. The common methods to try and kill this boss at the moment seems to be using Daraks to try and wipe him out as quick as possible and leaving the ranger alive. So you literally go into the boss room and try and blitz him down to nothing. The other method, which is the method I'm using here, is actually using Ancient Mage, and it seems to work fairly well. And the idea behind it is, as soon as you go in, use your Staff of Light or your Chaotic Staff, whichever one you're using, and until your adrenaline bar is completely full, switch out to your shield, and then use Rejuvenate so you gain 40% of your HP back. You do need to keep the shield equipped until the effect ends, but it is free healing. Then you want to switch back to your soul to keep dealing damage. The idea behind this is because using the Griffolic wand or the Virtus wand, whichever one you're using, it doesn't deal a massive amount of damage. Well, Tellarlight is not accurate, I should say. So it does take a long time to whittle down the boss's life. But the advantage of using this mage method is not only do you have impact and kick at your disposal, you also have the fact that you can bind the boss in one spot for 10 seconds using Ice Blitz. I would recommend using Ice Blitz over Ice Barrage, mainly because it seems that using the AoE effects in Ancients, the max damage cap is lower, with the bonus of being able to attack over an area, whereas Blitz keeps the full damage and stays single target, and it also binds for the same amount of time. Additionally, killing this boss, I'd highly recommend Dread Nips if you have them, as they're incredibly useful, as they can actually stun the boss as well, which does really help. And I'd highly recommend using them. There's one other item which I'd highly recommend for this boss fight, which is the Penance Aura. The main reason is simply to keep your prayer up, as this boss can be quite a bitch, and having to keep an eye on your prayer can be a little bit of a nightmare. On top of the limited imagery space, as you cannot actually bring a familiar in here with you. So no unicorn or yaks. So yeah, this boss is fairly hard. It probably will take you a few attempts to kill him. Although the advantage of that is you don't actually lose anything on death, you just appear outside next to the bank. And you can just come straight back in and try it again. So as I said, the two main methods seems to be either run straight in with a chaotic mole and Tova or Bandos, or use Darux and just come straight in, or use the mage method with Ancient Magics, and as you can see he's now healing, and that's what happens when you leave him be. So I nearly killed him and then he's back up to full life. But the method with Darux, as I said before, is you just run straight in and try and kill the boss as quickly as possible. Whereas the mage method, you have to kill the ranger first, just so you can switch all the minions to melee, as that's where your best defense is. This way you won't take a lot of damage from any of the minions while they're all in melee. And it kind of gives you some breathing room from healing. The hardest part of this entire fight is literally trying to stay on top of everything that's happening. For example, looking at your cooldowns to make sure what is and isn't on cooldown. And then your HP, because you're going to be dying constantly. Then you've got to keep an eye on the floor, because that's trying to kill you. At the same time as keeping an eye on your prayer, because if that goes down, you are screwed. Oh! That is a point I forgot to mention. You must have Protect from melee on at all times versus this boss. No matter what. Simple reason is, if you don't have Protect from melee on, he'll deal anywhere between 4,000 and I think 7,000 HP worth of damage in one attack. Yeah. Protect from melee is needed. But yeah, that's pretty much the boss in a nutshell. Make sure you keep him stunned so he can't heal himself, or when he goes to heal himself, stun him, I should say. Dread Nips are incredibly useful because they can stun also. Ancient Magics is amazing because you can bind him for 10 seconds. Alternatively, you could simply just use Snare on the normal magics while you're meleeing or whatever. Though the chance of it succeeding is another matter entirely. Penance Aura is your best friend. Keep Protect from melee up at all times. And that's pretty much it. That is the tactics for this boss. The shield you don't actually necessarily need. I dare say you could probably kill this boss using Ancient Magics simply by using momentum. And the only time you would ever really need to pay attention to impact or stunning him is if he does happen to run towards healing, at which point you'd come out of momentum and then you just need to get your adrenaline bar back up before using it again, which would be simple enough to do. In fact, it may even be easier than this method I'm doing right here. Yeah, this boss is fairly hard. I wouldn't expect to do it the first time unless you were very lucky, or someone's perfected a better tactic down the line. But yeah, that is it. That's the boss for you. As soon as you've killed him, he'll be lying on the floor wherever you poke him in the eye. Go ahead and talk to him. So talk to the boss, and you'll have a little mini cutscene. You then want to talk to Gel's Ox. And then choose whichever one you want. As far as I know, it doesn't matter. At which point then we need to head back to the main plaza. Unfortunately, we can't tele while we're in here, so you do actually need to exit the cage and then go through either the north or southern door. It doesn't matter which one you go through, as you end up in the same place. So finally, once you're out, head over to the main plaza and talk to Mejjer again, and then he'll disappear, at which point we now need to tele back to the fight kiln. And go ahead and enter, and then it's 1 for the Brink of Extinction. So upon entering, you'll be given another lengthy cutscene, where you'll find out that you just saved the entire race, etc, etc, blah blah blah. You'll be given an option, choose whichever one you want, it doesn't seem to matter. And eventually you'll be given another option. That's entirely up to you again, doesn't seem to matter. So the cutscene will continue and you'll have a Terminator moment even. Fucking hell. So as soon as the cutscene is complete, congratulations on completing the quest. So for completing this, you gain 3 quest points, 275k XP in either attack, strength, defense, magic or range. It's a lamp. You also gain 100k mining XP. You have access to the Fight Cauldron, the new minigame. You also gain the ability to smith obsidian armor and donate 30k toggle to a booth next to the Fight Cauldron to improve your obsidian armor defense abilities during the minigame. The armor can be smithed with obsidian shards you gain by killing the Tok'ra in the Fight Cauldron if you're interested in getting the armor. Upon completing it, you also gain the Tazar title. You can talk to the NPC that started the quest to actually gain a secondary title on top of it, so Tazar Met, for example, although that does require some 99s. You also gain 2 spins on the Squeal of Fortune, and your Toggle Zo ring can now teleport you to the Fight Cauldron. So all in all, this was a pretty good quest. It was a massive challenge for me to try and get used to the EOC to kill that boss, but all in all, was absolutely awesome. I'm kind of glad I did it. And yeah, finally managed to get out on the second day, well, the first day after release I should say. So yeah, I wish you all good luck on that boss, and congratulations on beating probably the hardest quest to date. So until next time, I will catch you all later.